Hey, welcome back to another exciting episode of This Is Talking Sci-Fi with your host with the most, this guy right here. No, wait, I mean this guy right here.
Oh.
What? No, it's Sci-Fi Sean and...
Just Randee.
And Captain Picard and...
Lopan?
Being Q.
Oh.
Lopan, yeah.
I thought that was Lopan.
Nah, you know. You want to talk about... we're going to talk about this trailer today of Picard Season 2, where evidently John Delancey, the actor that portrays Q from the Q Continuum, is coming back to reprise his role. Well, this thing's dusty. There's cat hair on it. Sorry about that. But he's come back to reprise his role as Q on the second season, which is in the middle of production. It's not going to come out till next year, from what I've been hearing.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, Sean, but they, John, he let it leak that they're filming Season 2 and Season 3 at the same time.
Well, the whole season, there's going to be 6 to 8 episodes that deal directly with Q.
Right.
So, and they're saying that it's going to be a different type of Q than what we saw in the beloved series, the true series of Next Generation.
True series.
Because, you know, instead of him being kind of I've been in a lot of video reading chats and things like that. I've gotten to where I don't comment because all you do is just stir a big pile of shit up, and you know, everybody's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go into Discovery here. I got a story about Discovery here in a minute too." But
oh boy,
everybody thinks that Q is a villain. Well, yeah, he is kind of portrayed as a villain, but he's actually helped Starfleet more than hinder it over the years.
Right.
So,
but he's a god, really, if you look at it.
Yeah, pretty much he is. They're from a godlike race. You know, they run into those type of characters on Star Trek.
I got a question for you.
Beginning. Do what?
I got a question for you. Q is the race. Are all of them named Q?
Yes. They're all Q.
That's kind of messed up.
Well, over the years, from Next Generation all the way up to Voyager, because Q has made appearances on Star Trek Voyager with Captain Janeway and her crew, because there was a female Q, there was a 2 or 3 Corbin Bernstein, I forget how you pronounce his last name, but he was a lawyer on that old show, and this is just going to blow your mind. It was called L.A. Law.
Oh, I remember that.
And he was one of the lawyers on there. He was also the all-star baseball player in what was that Wild Thing? What was the name of that movie? What was it called?
Major League.
Major League.
Major League. Yeah, okay.
He was in that. He was the only true real baseball player that had joined the Chiefs in that movie, and he was kind of scared to play. What? It was the Indians. I said the Chiefs. It was the Indians.
What role did he play in there? What was he?
He was the blonde-haired guy that was the
Roger Dorn, third baseman.
Yep, third baseman, right. But he was second base. Lori said it was second base.
Oh,
but anyway, it's just he was scared to play because he was still in line to get picked up by a real baseball team.
Yes.
So he ended up playing like he was supposed to and winning it. But anyway, he played a Q. Susan Plaxton, who's been many characters on Star Trek. She's played Klingon Worf's girlfriend they had the son with on Next Generation. She came back and played Q's wife or girlfriend, and her name was Q. So yes, all the Qs are called Q because our small little minds can't comprehend the Q continuum, so they make it as simple as possible for us to understand. So John Delancey's coming back as Q in Picard Season 2, which I think is a horrible mistake.
So you're not looking forward to it?
Well, you know me, and you've talked with me, and we've talked about the Picard Season 1. Yeah, there was a lot of, well, I like to call hat tips. You call them Easter eggs to the Next Generation series, Voyager, right, and even original Star Trek. But again, they're trying to make Star Trek for the now generation. So that's why you have all the, they would never, ever kill off beloved characters like they did in Picard.
Well, let me ask you something. Would you prefer they not do anything at all with Star Trek?
I have a group of friends that I'm had this discussion with, and they think Star Trek would be better off without trying to bring anything back. Now, when I was talking about Discovery earlier, I'm on a lot of Star Trek things on Facebook, social media, whatever, and every time I want to talk about something, it's a hate fest because the people that like Discovery, Disco, STD, whatever you want to call it, they love it. They're younger people. They're the now generation, that that are into the Me Too movement and the woke generation and all this, and that's cool.
All that.
I'm good with that as long as they don't involve me with it. But when I want to sit and watch a great television series like Star Trek, I don't want to be preached to. And then that's A. B, I hate it to see that they're changing so much about Star Trek on these new series. You're not I don't want to say this, and it's not a cut.
You're right. You're right. I'm not.
You're not a true Star Trek fan like I am.
Right.
And you like the new stuff. You think Discovery's great because there's action.
Picard.
And you think Picard was fantastic. They got this strange new worlds that's coming out. It's going to focus on Captain Pike. I'm curious about that, but they're doing it in the same timeline as Discovery, and I'm interested because they've never explored what Captain Pike did on the original Star Trek. There was only one episode where he got burnt and got put in that little wheelchair and all that, and they've touched on that in the second season of Discovery. We're going to get back to Picard's trailer, but I'm trying to set up a precedence right now. So, not even 2 weeks ago, I was on a Star Trek Facebook page, and people were commenting. I've learned a long time ago not to make any opinions about that because it's so protected by the people that like Discovery. That you could say, well, here is video evidence of what I'm saying, and they still would say, no, it ain't. It's just, the thing that frustrates me the most about Picard and Discovery is that everyone thinks it's true to the canon of the original Star Trek, which is what Star Trek was based on. Yes, Next Generation hedged on a few things, but they stuck true with the whole deal. And what has changed, Randee, about Star Trek is when Gene Roddenberry passed away, because he had certain guidelines and rules that were set in place about Star Trek that you weren't allowed to break these rules if you were writing, directing, or producing a Star Trek show. So I'll give you a good example, then we'll get back to what we're talking about. On Next Generation, and it spun off to Deep Space Nine, then it spun off to Voyager. You had a situation that started in Next Generation with a group of rebels, if you will, or terrorists, as some people call them, called the Maquis. Right. And they got a hair up their butt because they didn't like something that Starfleet was doing, and they kind of bridged it to a woke thing now of the people coming over and taking the land away from the American Indians, or the Indians that weren't American, and they kind of bridged it with that. Bridged it so much that there was a colony of Indians that left Earth and made a new settlement, and that was what all this fighting and stuff was about. So, Star Trek fans are very intelligent. We could have figured that out ourselves, but they had to go and just lay it out. So one thing that Gene Roddenberry had always put in his guidelines of Star Trek was there's no such thing as a renegade Starfleet officer. So that's why you never had anybody doing mutinies
Isn't that kind of what Spock did when he took Pike back to the Thelosians by stealing the starship?
Okay, that was a personal choice. That had nothing to do about the big picture. he was loyal to his captain. He would have done the same thing to Captain Kirk. He has done the same thing with Captain Kirk because Pike was Spock's first captain.
Right.
The first starship he'd served on was with that captain. He had a loyalty to him. So when all that happened and Spock knew, and they kind of touched on it in those crappy 3 movies of Star Trek Beyond and Darkness and the other ones with Chris Pine and his group. But they touched on it a little bit. They changed the storyline. They didn't go into, they killed Pike off. See, and then Pike didn't die. He just got incapacitated.
Right. So
Spock knew what a great man that Captain Pike was. So he went and when they found Talos 4 with the Thelosians, the guy was a big bulby head. You can put a picture right here of him, which could manipulate people's thoughts so much they thought they were living in a reality.
Right.
So that's why he kidnapped Pike, stole the Enterprise, and took Pike back to Talos 4 and let him live out the rest of his life because Vina was there, which is another human that their ship crashed. And, she was all fucked up and mutated and all that stuff. So they had her, the one that had the big hump on her back.
Those are some of my favorite original episodes.
Why, Randee? It's boring. It's cerebral. It's thought-provoking, and you hate stuff like that.
You're right, but I like that they're shooting the rock, and they don't realize.
Your favorite part of the original first episode of Star Trek ever filmed, The Cage, later became part 1 and 2 of the Menagerie, and they flashback. Your favorite part is when they shot the goddamn rock with a laser gun.
Well, yeah, because they didn't realize that in their mind they thought they were still shooting a rock, and they couldn't open it, couldn't break it. And the whole time...
An hour-long episode, you focus on a 2-second thing when they're shooting a goddamn rock with a laser gun.
Well, I also like when Pike is walking into the cave and he looks normal.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty cool.
But anyway, let's get back to Picard.
Yeah, Picard.
And Discovery. Let me get back to my point about Discovery. So... to get back on there, I got on this Facebook post on this page, and someone had posted a funny meme about Discovery. It was cutting Discovery down and all this, and I wrote on there, that is a true fact. And that's the first time I've commented on anything in a long time because, quite frankly, I'm done with people's drama. I'm not going to change the flow of a river that's broken over a dam and trying to stop it. I'm just going to go with hey, Star Trek is what I feel in my heart. It's original Star Trek, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager.
Yeah.
Now, the guy came back to me and I just want to ask you a question. And I said, okay. And he goes, why do you hate Discovery so bad? And I sat there for about 10 or 20 minutes and thought about it. And I said, I'm not going to respond to this guy because he's luring me into an argument.
Right.
That happens on Facebook a lot. So I put on there, I said, it isn't that I have a problem with Discovery. I just wish they would not have said it before Captain Kirk's time. If they would have went and did Discovery after Voyager got home, and my Star Trek friends out there that are watching this understand, because when Voyager got home, that was the end of the true Star Trek series.
Okay. If
they would have had Discovery set in the future after Voyager got home, because you look at the technology that's on Discovery. They have this spore drive. They've never, in the original Star Trek Enterprise, which was before Discovery in the timeline, never mentioned anything about this. The ships are more advanced. I get it. They're trying to get this new generation of Star Trek fans interested and seeing them do a little flip phone kind of a thing, and they have the floating screens on Discovery like they have in the Avengers movies because that was so popular. They never had that on the original Star Trek or Enterprise. It was advanced technology. So if they would have set Discovery in the future after Voyager returns home from their being lost in the Delta Quadrant, and then went on from there, the ships would have fit in better because they were a better looking design. Right. The technology would have fit in better because they'd gotten Borg technology and Voyager and brought back with them. So it would have shifted gears and made it. But they want to go back, and they're trying, just like, not getting political, they're trying to erase history in real life. They're doing the same thing with damn Star Trek. They're trying to reset it.
They're in the future in Discovery now, and I agree with you. If they would have started out with the cardboard hanging and the lights hanging out of the ship, and then they went into the future and then acquired this technology and went back, it might be easier to handle.
See, you have me at a disadvantage because I have not seen Discovery Season 3 yet. Okay. So I do know they travel to the future, but they make it back, don't they?
I haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure they do.
You haven't gotten there yet? I don't know. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll wait for it to come out on Blu-ray and DVDs.
Yeah.
So, I don't care. But my wife Lori and I have started watching Discovery Season 1 again, and I'm giving it, what I have done, because the first 2 times I watched doing the podcast stuff, it's like, I can't get past all the bullshit of them changing so much. And
right.
Yes, they touched on gender-related things in Star Trek over the years, but they just don't throw, like, 2 guys going, oh, I love you.
They did that.
That's cool. I'm good with that, but I don't want it fucking thrown in my face. You live your life, your personal life personally. I want to go and watch Star Trek and watch a guy fight a giant lizard throwing rocks at him, in a desert. Yeah. That's what my Star Trek is.
Right, I got you.
This whole, and I understand that in the 3rd season they really take it up a notch and put the women's situation in there, and are they pretty? Same gender girls in 3rd season?
Dude, it's one of those pets. You don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Well, see, and that's another thing. From what I've learned, one of the girls in the 3rd season is a Trill.
Yeah.
With the dots down the side, and see, that's I can swallow that because the Trills are just this worm that are put inside of people's bodies, right. And they take over the consciousness. It's like a second brain, and sometimes they get into a guy's body, sometimes they get into a girl's body. Next Generation did a whole episode where Dr. Crusher fell in love with this Trill, and he got hurt, and they had to put his little worm guy in a female, and he said, well, what's the difference? Love is love. And she goes, well, and she even admitted it, even though we've done leaps and bounds into the future from the past and things, it just the world is still not ready for that type of relationship. Well, here comes Discovery. Screw that. Let's make everybody kiss and touch pee-pees and stuff like that, And again, don't hate on me, people. I'm okay with it. I have relatives that fall into that category. I have beautiful friends that fall in that category, and they know me. Wait a minute, let's stop the show. I have kissed a man on the mouth before. He's a really good friend of mine. You have met him, so It's just no tongue. Just
that's boring.
Kiss, Yeah, and I love him. He's the best friend of mine and in the whole world. And his sidekick partner is a fantastic man, and I love him too. And it's just I'm okay with it, is what I'm saying. But when I'm sitting back, had a hard day at work, all this, I want to absorb myself into a program. I don't want, other people's opinion forced down my damn throat.
I got you.
And you and I have talked about this before.
Yeah.
Now, when we're watching first season Discovery again, I have cut loose any ties to Star Trek. So if they mention anything, just like I hate what they did with the Klingons in Discovery, because they don't look like Klingons, but they believe like the true Klingons, believing in Kahless and all that, and they look different, and sometimes they hedge on it. It isn't about true honor and all that stuff, but just like them taking the one character and ripping him apart and putting the Klingon guy's essence in him, and he's now a human, but you remember that?
Yeah, I love that. You don't like that, I take it.
Well, they did something similar to that in the original Star Trek, but in the original Star Trek, the Klingons looked more human than they did with the bumpy ridge's head. But they explained that in Enterprise, so they all connected of why the Klingons looked different, and then they went back the way they are. But it was in the Trouble with Tribbles. Arn Darvin was a Klingon agent that was altered to be more human. But when they did the medical scans on him, oh shit, his heartbeat's wrong. He's got another heart over here, blah, blah, blah. But on the outside and DNA stuff and all that, he was a human being. But they've done that. But for them to take this ugly chocolate monster thing with the bumpy heads and cut him open and put the human essence in him and blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's crazy. It's just, but I'm watching it for the third time. I'm choking it down, and I even told Laura, I said, I'm going to try not to focus on the negative. You can even ask her. I've gotten better at watching Discovery this third time because
I'm glad
I
to
let
hear
loose of Captain Kirk, Picard, Janeway, and Sisko, and Archer, and just enjoying it as a television show. But I'm sorry to tell you, people, even as a regular television show that I'm trying to take Star Trek, it's not very well written. I think it's horrible. But I'm giving it a chance, and then we're going to go into second season, because by the time I get done with second season, the third season might be kind of back and all that. But anyway, I know we were talking about the reaction to the Picard video, and I kind of went off and offshoot, but I'm trying to get back to why I'm nervous about Picard.
Right.
Season 2. I enjoyed season 1 of Picard more than I thought I would, because I have friends that they dissect it with knives and microscopes and everything, and yes, they have a lot of good points. I agree with them, but a true Star Trek fan, and when I mean true, and when you asked me this a minute ago, would you just rather not be any Star Trek? I've had lectures from friends of mine that are truer Star Trek fans than I am, saying, well, they don't want the series to go away because at least we have something, and you get to hear the names like Q and Picard back, and the Romulans and the Andarians and whatever, they might be, and it's someone else's take on it. It isn't Gene Roddenberry's take. Gene Roddenberry's son, Rod Roddenberry, great young man. He's the one that created and has made Star Trek Discovery in his own image. That's what has happened, if you really want to get down to it.
Right.
He took his daddy's idea and he said, well, Daddy was a pretty much a god in this world, so I'm going to come back and create Star Trek in my own image. And he's a younger guy.
Yeah.
I've met Rod many times in the past at conventions, on cruises and stuff, and I used to do all that with the Volcon. But that's what's happened here. And then Jonathan Frakes is back. He directs a lot of Discovery episodes, and he's directing some Picard episodes as well, too. Riker, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he's going with the flow, and I'm like, which really, that also hurts my Star Trek little wee feelings, because he was a big part of my Star Trek life, because I loved his character Riker on The Next Generation. Now he's coming back and pretty much directing a garbage scow through the Romulan neutral zone, to say, and it's like, man, I figured with Jonathan Frakes directing and all this stuff, or producing, or whatever hell else he's doing, he would make it more true to Star Trek. But Picard was closer to Star Trek than Discovery to me. So we probably run a little too long on this podcast.
Yeah, we're getting there. Wrap it up with your thoughts on Picard.
You can break it into 2 parts. I don't care. But all right, I'll wrap it up. Picard season 2. Q's coming back. He's going to be different than the Q that we have grown to love, from what I've been told and what I've been reading. He's going to be. It's not going to be the whole, oh, Picard, I'm going to snap my fingers and turn you into Robin Hood and put you in bed with me or a dog or whatever.
Right.
He's not going to be the whimsical Q. I'm interested on how they're going to tell how he aged, because, like you said, the Qs are godlike,
right? And
he is actually going to be older in this. But all that aside, when Q first met the Enterprise crew of the D Enterprise, Picard, he said humanity was on a trial, and the last episode of Next Generation, All Good Things, where Picard had Alzheimer's disease or whatever they called it, Q came back and said the trial has never ended. It's still ongoing. So they're going with that in Picard season 2.
Right.
It's directly involved with the trial still, to see if humanity is a worthy race. So
right.
I'm hoping Q comes in, snaps his fingers, and Picard's not a freaking android anymore, because that blew me away, and it's just, I don't know, that whole android thing in season 1, the guy that gosh darn it, Dr. Whatever, he got the girl killed him, and he was the guy was from Measure the Man that was so against Data, and then for him to turn on Data and the whole race like that, just it made me sad. And that's what a lot of my Star Trek friends said. They've taken characters that we have grown to love and mutated them for their own purpose, political or whatever, in these new Star Treks for the young people of today.
Yeah.
Star Trek is dead. You and I have had this conversation. As much as I hate to admit it, Star Wars is the thing. It's great. The Mandalorian has brought back blood to Star Wars, which has never really died. And Star Trek has been thrown away, put in the wayside. So now they're coming back with shows like Picard, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, and they're trying to make it more like Star Wars so that people gravitate and say, oh, this is similar, we're going to watch it. That's what's going on with Star Trek right now. It's Star Wars. Damn it, Star Wars has spoiled us again. Is trying to manipulate Star Trek is manipulating themselves to be like Star Wars, which, but think about it. That's all I got. I'm looking forward to seeing season 2 of Picard. I love the slight, I don't even want to call it a sneak trailer, because it was just pretty much little flashbacks of here and there, but I've seen photos from the set, and it looks like it's going to be interesting, and I'm going to give it a chance, just like I'm giving Discovery another chance, but we'll see what happens. I miss Star Trek, Randee.
Yeah, I know you do.
Every night I watch the original Star Trek on MeTV, then we watch Next Generation. I watched the movies. Laura and I just went through all the original movies with the whale one that you love so much, and the one with the one
I watched it.
It's all music, So
I watched it.
I'll never let it go.
I watched it.
Do what?
I watched the whale one again. With my father-in-law. We've been watching all the Star Treks, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Not how I remember it.
It was more of a comedy than it was a series. But then again, they're putting that green message in there in 1984 when that movie was made, and that's great. Let's save the whales. Let's hug some trees. Let's kiss some flowers. But, I want to watch Star Trek for Star Trek, not all that crap.
Hey, anyway, I got a prediction real quick.
Okay.
Picard season 2, they go back in time.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I'm not surprised about that at all. It probably will be. So
I just got that feeling.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. But everybody, thank you for tuning in to another fun episode. Lori's out on the porch. She's been she's waving at everyone right now. You can't see. But Randy's made it so that it's made it a little bit easier for us to do the podcast. And I appreciate that, Randee. You did great looking into this new technology and stuff, which is not new technology, but it is for me. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, hanging with us. Our shows are not supposed to be serious. We're supposed to be taken with a grain of salt and fun. And appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on This is Talking Sci-Fi with Sci-Fi Sean. And who are you?
Just Randee.
And who is this?
Lopan.
I'm Q Picard. Kiss me. We're at an episode of Discovery right now. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to Talking Sci-Fi. And your host and starring Sci-Fi Sean and Just Randee.